Call this board meeting to order. So stand and join us for the press out. Pledge of allegiance.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our mission statement is educating each student to the highest standards while motivating them to reach their fullest potential and graduating them to a college, career, and life learning. Our vision statement, our schools are a place where children belong. Each student is known by name, strength, and need, and provided the education and opportunities to achieve success. Our values are striving for equity, inclusion, and belonging, celebrating diversity, engaging the community, supporting the whole child, and promoting and achieving academic excellence.
Thank you. All right, we'll start this off. We'll turn it over to the Dallas High School Choir.
Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Music is a truly universal language, one that not only allows us to communicate with one another, but also one that allows us to experience other cultures. One of our goals through all the K-12 music programs is to provide opportunities and embody that exploration of other cultures. Our TDHS choir program is no different, and one of our hidden gems, our community at large may not often see. They work just as hard, if not harder, than the band program, which so often gets recognition due to their performances at both athletic and community events. Every year, the choir heads out to the community performing carols for our care homes, visiting businesses, singing national anthems, supporting our students at the baccalaureate ceremonies, or even traveling and competing at state-level festivals as the late great Lloyd Walworth once did. One of the students rather, wanted to take a second to kind of speak on what choir has been for them. So this is Addison Husky.
My name is Addison Husky. For those of you who don't know, I'm a senior at Dallas High School. I've been in choir for 2 years now, and this program has helped me grow in experience with not only my singing, but who I am as a person. If I hadn't done choir, I wouldn't have met these wonderful people I'm on stage with, and I wouldn't have grown not in only maturity, but just like who I am as a person. Choir is a truly amazing place, or like amazing group of people that I'm with, and we've all worked really hard throughout the year to sing these songs and practice. Our first piece is Sim Shalom. It comes from an old Hebrew prayer, loosely translated to grant peace, goodness and blessing, graciousness and compassion on all that dwell on this earth, and we hope you enjoy Alan Naplin's arrangement of Sim Shalom.
Sim Shalom.
3 weeks, I've worked to memorize and master these pieces while I was on maternity leave. Second, I want to thank our accompanist, Miss Barbara Aaron, who has been honestly putting up with me for the last 6 years. Comes to rehearsal every single day with us. She learns all of our parts. She helps the kids even when I'm not there. We owe her a huge round of applause. And then lastly, to our board, superintendent, and administration at both the middle schools and high school. When I was first hired several years ago, Principal Evans asked me a pretty standard question of, where do you see the program in 5, 10, 15 years? All bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I laid out my bulletproof plan. Surely, nothing world-altering can happen in that first year of 2019, 2020, right? One of those goals I mentioned was to try and transition our middle school and high school programs to support music teachers' specialties. An example, 6 through 12 choir teacher, and then a 6 through 12 band teacher. When Ms. Wilson resigned in the fall, I immediately approached Mr. Evans and asked if we could just rip the Band-Aid off. Knowing this year would be challenging as we try to locate candidates, and I try to work around schedules to be at the middle school and the high school as often as I can. He agreed. So I want to say thank you to the school board, thank you Mr. Evans, Mr. Williams, Ms. Kilgore, Mr. Dada, and Dr. Banal, for even though our budget position faces new challenges, your continued support of the arts and willingness to post a position and later hire a 6 through 12 choir teacher for next school year will bring a ton of success to our program and will be a small dream come true for me. Thank you. Our final piece tonight is titled Take This Gift, pulling from African American gospel and spiritual styles. It does come with some audience participation we'd love some help with. Thank you again for your support of the arts and our music programs. Take this gift, share it far so all may know, and let our love for singing grow.
My feet are rooted to the ground, oh, ilala, ilala, ilale. My voice is soaring in the skies, ilala, ilala, ilala. I am tied to the past.
All right, that was great. So next up we have review and revision of the agenda. Anyone have any comments? Okay. We'll go into public comments on agenda items only. Do you have any? None? Okay. So we'll move into consent agenda. Consent agenda consists of routine items such as previous board minutes, routine personnel actions, and routine financial transactions. Normally there's little or no discussion. We have the school board minutes and personnel report. You got anything on that? I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented. Motion by Director Nelson, seconded by Director Lopez. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Any abstain? Ayes have it. Motion passes. Next we have the board action calendar review. Let's see. Anyone have anything on that? All right, we'll move on to student and staff recognition. Who's going to do that? I'll turn it over to Stephanie. Hello? There we go. As long as I don't have to clap in rhythm, it's okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to take a few moments of tonight's meeting to recognize a truly remarkable educator in our district. Someone whose energy, passion, and innovation are making a profound impact on our students and the wider community. Tonight, I am honored to recognize Leah Ferguson, who has been named the Oregon ACT New Teacher of the Year for 2025. This award is one of the highest honors in career and technical education and is given to educators who go above and beyond in preparing students for the future, and Leah surely embodies exactly that. Since joining the Dallas High School in 2022 to lead our graphics art program, Leah has reimagined what CTE can look like in our school. In just a few short years, she has grown the program in all directions, expanding course offerings, supporting students at all levels of their experience, and creating a vibrant, hands-on learning environment that students are genuinely excited to be a part of. Thanks to her leadership, our students are stepping beyond the classroom and making a meaningful impact in our community. She played a pivotal role in helping our students bring the haunted house to life, an event led by her graphics art club that has quickly become a cherished community tradition, although I, for one, will never be going. Even that might be too scary. It draws hundreds of visitors each year and has transformed our school into a hub of creativity, excitement, and shared experience. She also has led a number of other projects that have brought our student work into the public eye. From the iconic Cherry Fest poster to the design of the Hawk House, the food truck, she's been a leader in giving our students real-world opportunities to showcase their talents in our community. And somehow, Leah still finds time to lead the esports club, co-lead Sources of Strength, serve as a class advisor, coordinate Spirit Week, run the yearbook, and open her classroom during lunch, where by all accounts, I'm told, is the place to be. One of my favorite stories that Principal Evans shared during her nomination came from one of our counselors, who said students will often request class changes just so they can be in one of Leah's classes. Sometimes they don't even put what class or subject it is, they just write 101 with whatever with Leah. That in itself speaks volumes about the connection she builds with her students, and I personally cannot think of a more fitting candidate for this award. So Leah, on behalf of the entire North Wasco County School District, we want to say congratulations. Your dedication, creativity, and heart for our students make us so incredibly proud. We are grateful for all you do for our schools, and we can't wait to see what you will do next. So everyone, please join me in giving a round of applause again for our wonderful Leah Ferguson, the ACT New Teacher of the Year. Okay, I'm doing the next recognition. So as you know, about a year and a half to 2 years ago, we made the difficult decision to take down our crow's nest. Unfortunately, this was no longer a safe place for our people to broadcast for football games and whatnot. And so we've been working hard to get a new, what we want to call the hawk nest. And we wanted to publicly recognize two of our community partners who have helped us in these efforts. So the first community partner is Wasco, who donated $100,000 to our school district in our efforts to replace the hawk nest. And we also want to thank Bishop Sanitation, who donated $25,000 towards these efforts to replace our hawk nest. And I don't know if any of them are here tonight. No. Okay. Well, we have a little thank you for them. And I'm happy to report we have purchased our new hawk nest. It's, my understanding, is in progress and should be here soon. And our goal is to have it up and ready in time for football season this fall. So we just wanted to publicly thank them. These were huge donations, and without their donations, we probably wouldn't be in the position we are to have a new hot nest this fall. So, thank you to them. All right, thank you. Next we have student representative to the board report. In the month of April, students are progressing with sports, midterms, and mock exams. Boys golf finished in 6th place at the Males Nelson Invite. Boys tennis won 7-1 against Issaquah and defeated the Warriors 5-0. Girls tennis went to the Magic Tournament and won 4th place overall. For track, River McClure set a new school record in the hurdles. Midterms are going out this week, so students have been coming to QT to stay on top of their grades. We also have a scheduled extended lockdown drill this week, where we will practice with our law enforcement and first responder partners. As the month comes to an end, we're expecting to have our prom invites be handed out to junior and senior classes, as our prom will be on May 17th. Thank you. Next we have student representative reports. We'll start with Colonel Wright, Madeline Swanson, and Cyrus Bott. Tonight we would like to share with you some photographs of some of the things that occurred at Colonel Wright these past 2 months. Today I'd like to introduce you to Nate Pierce, who is standing for Cyrus Scott. Our reptile expert Richard Ritchie volunteered to share the whole story of his reptile collection. Everybody had lots of fun. He showed us how snakes, lizards, and baby alligators. And 8 lucky kids got to hold a big skate together. Everybody had a good time, and all the reptiles were trained to be gentle and calm, so no one got hurt. Miss Brewster and Miss Brown started a group called Earthbound, which means Oregon Daughter of Books. They had to read 16 books, and the kids with the lowest amount of books that read doesn't get to be on the team. They started out with 22 kids and ended with 5. The team of 5 gets to go to regionals. At regionals, there were 16 teams, and our school placed 5th. To the lower right of the first page, you will see pictures of our family and mass reader night. We had over 200 people who attended. Mr. Vera asked the Columbia George STEM Club, Center for Living, the next door, and several teachers to hold booths. If you turn to the second page, you will see some of the community and school partners who also Mr. Vera handed out free books to all who came. The Waldo and the Lego booth added extra fun for kids. There are also some great food served as well. If you direct your eyes to the third page, our amazing teacher, Miss Rose, is helping all the 5th graders in Art Club make a wonderful quiz, which will appear at the Cherry Festival. Be sure to check it out. Our tech students are doing a float for the Cherry Festival. Our Art Club is working hard to get this done before Saturday's parade. Thank you to all our volunteers to help with building our float. Our theme is turning around to celebrate 100 years of Corner Light and celebrate the Harvest Fest of Cherries. This year we had Superhero Day for one of our spirit weeks. Hero is Miss April and Miss Rose, sporting Miss Rose Superhero. On March 17th, Miss Harwood invited Rory Harwood to come play his bagpipes for our afternoon recess. We had the opportunity to hear some Irish music. Smokey the Bear came again to our school to teach primary grades about fire safety. It's always a great visit. If you direct your eyes on the last page, we had a puberty talk for the 5th and 4th graders. Our 5th graders expert parents on puberty, Miss Vera and Miss Cervelli, volunteered to talk to the 5th grade and 4th graders with youth and state requirement. The 1st grade classes did a scavenger hunt through the school to celebrate 120 days of school. They had lots of fun. Our school just had a new Gaga pit installed over spring break. It was a grant from the district, and now that it's done, all the kids love to play Gaga. And it's fun to play it. Thank you to our PE teacher who spent time teaching us and the staff how to play. The mayor mentioned that our guest at Colonel Wright who did our centennial meal, which was displayed during our harvest fest. She also came back to volunteer to create paper flowers and nosepads which displayed around our library entrance. We had a book fair on March 10th through 14th from 3 p.m. to 5:30. We earned around $5,000 from the book fair, and half of it went to Scholastic since Scholastic provided our books for the book fair. The school loved it. The 5th grade classes had the opportunity to go to an overnight field trip to Angie about a week ago, where they saw a submarine and many other exhibits. Everyone had an amazing time. Even some of us got woken up at 5 in the morning. To the 5th graders are having a graduation promotion party on June 9th. This would mean that there have been 100 5th grade classes back through Colonel Wright. Dr. Bernard is going to open the ceremony. It will be the first promotion night for Colonel Wright. We are also going to the pool on the 11th. Can't wait, and thank you, PTO. We had an annual penny war We want to praise the fourth graders for winning the penny war. In total, we made about $1,300. They won ice cream party. Way to go, fourth graders. This year, there are many clubs to bring people together, make friends, prepare for middle school, and learn new skills, and have fun. This year's clubs were Myers Club, STEM Club, Cement Club, Water Club, Game Club, Journalism Club, Soccer Club, Homework, and Impact Club. Thanks to all the teachers who helped in making this year's club fun. We would like to give shout-outs. Finally, we have had a lot of community partners maybe just make their own style lists as they donated to our or showed up for a wide area of things this year. Center for Living the Next Door, Wonderworks, Corps of Engineering, the Dodge Library, Four Rivers, Early Learning, the Dodge Civic Kids Children's Theater, Columbia Cascade Housing Court, Playful Learning, George STEM Club, La Fredetta Cat Tutoring, all others who volunteered and contributed, and a big shout out to Colonel Wright PTO to the coordinated funding and installation of the Sun Shade this year. Thank you. Thank you. Next up, we have Chenoweth Elementary with Eliza Kuhnel and Sophie Dominguez. Is it on? So, I'm Eliza Kuhnel. I haven't been here for a few months, but I used to do this. Here's the news at Chenoweth. On Fridays, our school has started to sell popcorn for 50 cents on our lunch recess for the Chenoweth Booster Club. They are raising money for future state night scholarships and Chenoweth graduates and more. Google has donated $10,000 to the Chenoweth Booster Club. And in other news, Earth Day was there a few days ago, and we did fun activities including chalk and crafts. Also, trees are starting to come in from seeds planted a few years ago in our back field. As a fifth grade pool trip is coming up, and kids are now allowed to do performances assembly as long as it teaches you something. People have done things like the countries of the world. Thank you for your time. See you next month. Thank you. Next we have Valhalla, Noah Enzinger, and Eric Gibson. Going Hall. My name is Everett Vandernaut, and I'm the fifth grade representative for Valhalla. First off, our word of the month is cooperation, and our Dragathon was on April 18th. All of the Class Colors Spirit Awards, and they all raised at over $6,000. Almost 200 families joined to help us cheer on our students. The annual poetry slam was on April 17th. We had over 40 participants, and our winner is a third grader named Reagan Zerr. And our first runner-up was Marcella Cushman. The second runner-up was Oliviana Wolf. As fifth graders are going to OMSI tomorrow, we should be prepared as we've learned a lot. In the third week of state testing, we'd like to thank all of the students who are working so hard. Ms. Hernandez won a grant from the Education Foundation for her Hatching Chicks and Learning Life Cycles project. Congratulations, Mrs. Hernandez. Kindergarten meet and greet is coming up on May 15th. This is when the next year's kindergarten students and families come to meet the teachers and check out school. I also have a paper about the Smart Reading program. It comes from a woman named Judy Timmons. Since October, Smart Reading volunteers have been working with first graders at our school. SMART stands for Start Making a Reader Today. Their mission is to spark the joy of reading in their students. Once a week, 6 volunteers either read one-on-one with a student or to the entire classroom. Over the year, level-appropriate books are given to the first graders. The goal is 14 books per student. So far this year, over 900 books have been given to the first graders. Smart Reading is at the 2 other elementary schools in the Dallas as well. Our drama club is performing The Wizard of Johor at the Civic Auditorium on May 21st at 6 p.m. I also have a flyer to pass around. And again, it is on May 21st at the Civic Auditorium at 6 p.m. Just in case you missed it. I'd like to thank you for your time, and good night, everyone. Thank you. Next we have the Dallas Middle School, Roslyn Elliott. Okay, we'll move on to Innovations Academy with Lorel Lynn. Good evening, members of the board, faculty, and community members. My name is Mariah, and I'm the student representative for Innovations Academy. I'm excited to share some recent highlights and upcoming events for the student body. Over the past month, students have had the opportunity to participate in several engaging and educational experiences. First, our physics class went on a field trip to the Dallas Dam. It was a great hands-on learning experience where we got to see real-world application of concepts we've been studying like energy transfer, hydroelectric power, and mechanical systems, and made the curriculum come alive in a way that clicked for a lot of us. For our juniors and seniors, we attended the Northwest Career Expo in Portland. This is a huge opportunity for students to contact with professionals from various industries, ask questions about different career paths, and even explore some post-secondary education options. Many of us walked away with new ideas and a better understanding of what we might want to pursue after graduation. Innovations Academy took a field trip to the Dallas Docks on April 2nd to visit the Coast Guard vessel Cutter Blue Bell, and its crew was a success. Although the weather was chilly and the wind was blowing constantly, the students had a wonderful time touring the ship. Listening to the crew member talk about various facts about the vessel, including the age of the ship, what it was used for, where it was built, and how the number of crew members had changed throughout the years from 25 to 15 due to advancements in technology. The students were also able to do various activities with team members from the Army Corps of Engineers at John Day Dam and our local Sea Scout troop. Some activities that were provided were knot tying, preserver tossing, and a simulation hypothermia tank that the students dip their hands in to collect coins. On campus, we recently hosted the Spring Bazaar, a fun event that brought our school community together. One of the highlights is a fundraiser led by a culinary class where our very own math teacher volunteers to cook hot dogs for the event, with over 60 hot dogs served. It was a great success. Students from across grades came out to support the event and help us set up. It is a great example of how our school comes together to support student-led initiatives and enjoy the times as a community. Another exciting event we held was a 2-day school-wide egg hunt. This friendly competition got everyone involved as different classes competed to find hidden eggs scattered around campus. Each egg contained a point value, and classes worked together to collect as many as possible. It was a fun, energizing way to build school spirit and bring out some healthy competition among grades. Students had a blast, and it was great to see everyone collaborating and cheering each other on. We also recently held an awards assembly for Innovations Academy online to celebrate the incredible achievements of our virtual learners. The event recognized students who demonstrated outstanding effort, academic growth, and dedication throughout the year. It was a meaningful way to honor their hard work in a remote learning environment. We're also proud to share that the online program has already graduated 24 students, a significant milestone that highlights the success and impact of our virtual learning community. Looking ahead, we're excited for our next fundraiser, a mock pizza night on May 15th. A portion of the proceeds from orders that day will go towards supporting student activities and clubs. We're encouraging all families and staff to enjoy some good pizza while helping out a great cause. Thank you for continuing to support these meaningful experiences for students. We truly appreciate all the opportunities to learn both inside and outside the classroom. Thank you. Next we have the Dallas High School, Harley. Good evening, District 21 School Board. I'm Riley Elliott, the Dallas High School's Executive School Board Representative and Secretary. I'll get right into the updates of all things TDHS. Monday of this week, ASB met with the TDHS Club presidents and advisors to discuss funding for next year. Tuesday of this week was Earth Day, and our ASB members visited Kennewick Elementary for Earth Day activities and fun. Senator Ron
did a town hall meeting in the auditorium yesterday. Today, several students took their AP mock exams. The actual AP exams are coming up in May, so it's going to be a stressful next few weeks for our AP students. Midterms were this week. Parent-teacher conferences are this coming Monday and Tuesday, and grade reports will be sent out soon. Next Thursday is decision day for seniors. Scholarship awards for seniors is next Tuesday, April 29th at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. TDHS band will be marching in the Cherry Festival Parade on Saturday morning. Coming up in May, we're looking forward to our Spring Spirit Week themed Winging It One Last Time, which leads up to the Masquerade Prom on May 17th at the Discovery Center. Our junior class, ASB, has been working hard to make prom amazing. League has started for all spring sports. The baseball team is in first place in league, 5-0. Softball is in third place, they're 2-3. Girls golf has several new members, and they got their first team score last week and finished 5th out of the 8 teams in Pendleton. Boys golf also finished 5th out of 11 teams in Pendleton. Girls tennis finished 7th, gosh that's a mouthful, at State Invitational in Madras this last weekend. Boys tennis went to the same tournament in Madras and finished 6th. Track and field has 80 athletes out. School record in the 300 hurdles. That concludes the updates of all things TDHS. At this time, we would like to transition to our proposal to reinstate the mandatory $30 ASB fee. Sophia's passing out a folder of different statistics from these past few years. And Kylie. We've provided you with collected data from the 2019 to 2020 school year and the current 2024 to 2025 school year. I'd like to introduce the Executive ASB Board.
Hi everyone, I'm Alexa Bustos, the Executive School President. I'm Sophia Hernandez, I'm the Executive Vice President.
And I'm Kylie Jepson, the Public Relations Officer.
And we have several other of our ASB students here to support us tonight.
There's tremendous value in student involvement in the school environment. ASB helps generate connectivity to the school and to other students. These events promote unity and help to raise school spirit while improving school culture.
Now, if you would please turn your attention to the ASB funding bar graph. In 2019, 686 students paid a $30 mandatory ASB fee before beginning the school year, which means ASB received a total of $20,550 from students. COVID hit in 2020, so there was no funds going into the ASB accounts. During the 2021 school year, ASB raised $12,000 off of the mandatory fee, and in 2022, the ASB fee raised $5,940. In 2023, the fee raised $8,155, and this year, in 2024, the ASB fee raised $4,235.
2 years ago, the mandatory ASB fee was removed, and ASB has tried to implement an optional $35 sticker. This sticker was supposed to help fund ASB activities and came with multiple perks for the students. Since the fee became optional, funding has been unpredictable. We can't rely on the ASB sticker to cover our finances.
This last year with the ASB sticker, only 121 students purchased it, and ASB only made $4,235, which doesn't cover homecoming week alone. We were going to cancel several of our major homecoming events due to these budget issues, but some amazing community members stepped up and made homecoming week possible this year. ASB has been able to continue operating through a fundraising account that has been piling up over the past few years for emergency situations like this year, and we've drained it almost completely.
The Dallas High School ASB is proposing to reintroduce the annual ASB fee. At the beginning of every school year, each student would be charged $30 to help support activities and events. With enough funding, ASB will continue to benefit the student body and not to be confined to budget constraints.
Although this is a mandatory fee, the counseling office will be thoughtfully considering a student's financial need and will provide scholarships to those individuals they determine would require extra support. Those selected would have their fee waived by ASB. This fee will not keep students from graduating.
This fee will get all students free admission to all home sporting events and plays. Dance ticket prices will be reduced, and as our Constitution states, all clubs will have access to ASB financial support, which we haven't been able to provide these last few years. This money will not cover only homecoming, but also a full year's worth of activities.
ASB goes beyond what we do for our student body. We host the Reverse River Walk on Halloween for elementary students, and we bought $600 worth of candy this past year. We do our annual Giving Tree fundraiser for the elementary schools, and we just recently did our Earth Day activity at Chenoweth Elementary. We would love to do an Easter egg hunt in the future. ASB wants to continue to support our current students and future Riverhawks, as well as strengthen our community. But this is only possible if we have adequate funds to continue these events.
This ASB fee benefits students, maintains the school environment, and is equitable. Thank you. At this time, we'd like to field any questions you may have.
I have a question for you. Who have you petitioned before coming to us? Have you talked to your sponsor, advisor, principal, and anything else?
We've been in direct communication with our advisor, Jim Taylor, and we have gone to Nancy and talked to her as well.
And then before this week, I sent an email to Ms. Miller just to make sure we could get this on the agenda, make sure we had the time to present this and make sure that this was an appropriate space to present this proposal.
First of all, just thank you for putting the data together. I'm not sure who all from the board, just a little backstory. So when we made the decision to eliminate the fee as a board, that was us trying to make sure that, and I think you recognize it with what you mentioned, is to make sure that, anything financial didn't prohibit students from getting the full experience, be it at the high school, elementary level, right? We as a board felt that it was important that we covered all fees, right? I guess I look at this as an unintended consequence, right, of that. I think there's a good spirit behind, hey, we want to support kids. We don't want them to be, having to think about a fee or their families if it becomes a burden, right? Because we want them to participate. I think many of you, I see your faces involved in extracurricular sports and all that. I think that was truly the spirit of, hey, we want to increase participation. It's awesome to hear the track has 80 students. I mean, that's exactly what we want to see, right? We want people involved. We want them engaged. And I guess, again, this is a very unintended consequence. And I think the timing is definitely relevant for us. But my question, I guess, is obviously you guys as a group, ASB, have discussed that. My question is related to the rest of the student body. Has there been feedback or just any kind of surveying that you've done with the rest of the student body to understand kind of where they lie in terms of fee, no fee, moving forward?
Yeah, so that's a great point. We have brought it up to leadership, and when we had our all ASB meeting, we talked about it. We talked about it in leadership class. When we met with our clubs on Monday, we talked to the club members, and they were all in full support. But like you said, we have not sent out any kind of surveys to the majority of the school, but that we would totally look to do that if that is, something we want to do. We would definitely send that out and make a about why we're doing it. I think a great thing to think about it in my mind is like, we have sporting events, you know, and to get into sporting events, you have to pay money. And so say you go to, I don't know, yeah, you want to go to 8 games, you want to go to some football games, some basketball games, some baseball games, I don't know. You have to pay to get into all those. Well, if we instate this fee, ASB is gonna be able to pay for that and to continue to pay for that. So right now, if you have our ASB sticker, we will pay that fee. But so that, I mean, to me, it makes it like throughout the year, you're paying the upfront cost for your year-round benefits of being able to go to games and to events, and it limits the cost of how much we have to charge people for dances, if that makes sense. Any other questions? Okay. Can I ask a question? How can we best move forward with this proposal?
I think it'd be great if we had an opportunity to come together and meet. Happy to come over to the Dallas High School and meet with the ASB leadership, and we can talk about next steps for moving forward.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yep, send me an
Appreciate it.
invite.
Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. Next, we have School Board Subcommittee reports. Scholarship Committee Director Winovich.
I'm just gonna follow up with what Riley said on the 29th of this month. We'll be handing out the scholarships to students at 7 p.m.
Community Outreach Team Director Nelson.
Yeah, so the community outreach team had a meeting Tuesday, I think, and the kind of went around and talked a little bit more about projects that did and did not happen when they went to Washington, D.C. So at the federal level, money that could provide for projects in our county. Some of them did not, they were held back, such as our early childhood learning center. And others moved forward, like the federal money that goes into the bond for the CGCC college, that is moving forward. So, other than that, let's see, there was a report so we went around the table and all the folks that were there talked about their projects and things. For the city, the First Street upgrade is moving forward. Gradually, First Street is going to be completely redesigned with benches and trees, tree line, a new street, so it'll be a lot more pleasant down there. And then also moving forward, getting closer and closer, is the downtown plaza. So that's a definite positive thing that's going to happen downtown, with a plaza with seating, shade trees, and a water feature. And also, there's a couple of projects of downtown residences or apartments, and those are moving forward. Those are pretty big projects. Do you want to add anything, Carolyn? You were there.
Yeah, I think you summarized it really well. I think the different entities are all in different places with different grants, and understanding where they are in the process in terms of any federally funded grants. As mentioned, the EPA Community Change Grant is not, we were awarded, but it's now paused. So it's not canceled, which that gives us hope, but it's just currently paused. So we're just in a waiting game right now.
Thank you. Equity committee, oh no, wellness committee.
There's no wellness committee report.
Equity committee. Wasco County Forest Collaborative.
Yeah, so at that, we learned a lot about the different things that have been done to manage the forests on projects that had been cleared. Took a look at all of those verbally, really. And then we're having a field trip in the first week of May to go up and look at some of those areas and see, after you've managed the forest for reducing fuel loads and preventing fires, that will just see what that looks like. In several areas, we'll go there and talk about how fire does interact and how this particular management helps to reduce the severity of those fires. The other thing is that the steering committee, which I'm on, voted unanimously for a future project, and that would be about the next decade, actually. We begin working on now. It takes a decade for anything to actually move ahead and get going. So that's always kind of a strange thing. But the project that we agreed to put our energy into is managing the U.S. forest, national forest, that is adjacent and close to the Dallas watershed. And doing that will reduce the danger of catastrophic fire coming into that area where our watershed is, and that protects our drinking water. So in places the forest is very thick and full of growth that needs to be thinned and masticated, some of that, the shrubs and so forth. So a fire doesn't pass from ground to ground and just get out of hand. So that project is going to move forward. That will be our next big project.
Thank you. OSBA Legislative Policy Committee, Director Richardson.
Thanks, Chair Jones. I'm passing out the full OSBA report. I'll just highlight a couple of things. So the focus now in the legislature's attention is shifted to budget discussions in the Ways and Means process due to economic uncertainty and the concerns about federal funding. They expect a cautious May 14th revenue forecast, and this may impact anticipated investments in K-12, especially special education. They're encouraging outreach to Oregon's federal delegation to support bills promoting full idea funding. It's HR 2598 and Senate Bill 1277. Proposed federal Medicaid cuts could significantly affect Oregon's budget and jeopardize school-based Medicaid services, especially as the state works to expand billing for the 2025-26 school year. Down on the key bills, the PERS legislation, Senate Bill 849 allocates $167 million from the unfunded liability fund to reduce district PERS rates for 2025-27. And Senate Bill 847 expands eligibility and increases subsidies in PERS health programs. Future rate impacts are projected to be minimal for that. Finally, the Summer Learning House Bill 2007 and House Bill 5047, both bills passed and are awaiting the governor's signature, so ODE is ready to release funding details for this summer.
Thank you. Education Foundation, Director Aparicio.
No update tonight. Our meeting is on Tuesday the 29th.
Thank you. We'll move on to new business. We'll start off with the statement on superintendent's evaluation. Board of Directors of North Wasco County School District has completed the annual evaluation of Superintendent Carolyn Bernal for the 24-25 school year. The majority of the board members have served 2 or more years and have been able to be part of the challenges and successes each year. The evaluation process includes the following data sources: Superintendent Carolyn Bernal's self-evaluation, Superintendent Carolyn Bernal's evidentiary documentation of progress towards goals, and the board's direct observation and experiences with Superintendent Carolyn Bernal. The Board of Directors speaks with one voice and provides one evaluation for the superintendent. This year's evaluation focused on 8 professional standards of performance for superintendents in the state of Oregon and 3 superintendent goals. Regarding the 8 professional standards, we determined that Superintendent Bernal's performance was either accomplished or effective in the areas of visionary district leadership, ethics and professional norms, policy and governance and advocacy, inclusive district culture, culturally responsive instructional leadership and improvement, communication and community relations, effective organizational management, and effective financial management. Overall, the board's evaluation found the performance of Superintendent Bernal on 8 professional standards was effective. The board also determined that Superintendent Bernal has done either an accomplished or effective job working towards making progress in the areas of academic excellence, educational innovation, and student engagement and well-being. With the completion of this successful evaluation and in accordance with the contract terms, superintendent's contract is extended through June 30, 2028. The board will continue to work with Superintendent Bernal over the next several months to develop new goals for our district, and we are looking forward to working together and making our district successful. Next, we have Superintendent's report. Dr. Bell.
Thank you. We have a couple of presentations tonight. I want to invite our Director of Nutritional Services, Tamara Taylor, to please come up to give an update on nutrition services.
Real quick before we go on the presentation, do we not have to have a motion? It's an action item, right? Not just a statement? Okay, thank you.
Hello. As you know, I'm Tamara, but I have brought a support person, our nutritionist for the region, this district, Asia Rinjitsi. Hey, good job. She's out of Salem, so she's a phone call away and drive for questions that we have with nutrition. We do have some, changes coming in. 1st of July, we're going to be seeing some changes. What we have, we brought in and started this past month. It's our online menus called NutriSlice that are posted. Anyone can look at them. We have a phone app option for people to have it on their phone, and we wanted to just go through this for you, with you all, so that you're aware of what we're doing. It will show, this is our website right here, and it shows each of the schools. If you click on a school, and click on, let's click on, which one? Okay.
Lunch.
Lunch, thank you. It will show the main event here. What's today? 23rd. We had, or no, 24th. We had the mozzarella stuffed breadsticks, which are very popular. The salad. In here, it shows Each of the items that qualifies this for a reimbursable meal, as you know, I may not know, we have to provide items from grain, meat alternative, fruit, vegetable, and dairy. And for each of that, our students have to pick 3 of those items. And this will show here, I'm gonna have you click up and go up to here, you can filter and get the allergens. You can filter and get your carb counts. It shows all of the allergens involved. It can get your carb counts. It works for the dietitians or the nurses at each school. If they have a student that has diabetes or severe allergies, working with them to easily look at the menu items that we're offering and know what the child can and cannot eat. Working with moms sometimes or family members with special dietary needs, being able to work off here. What can we have with your child? What can we not have with your child? And this can be printed monthly or daily. It can be looked at. The phone app is pretty cool to look at that. And the other thing I sometimes, when I'm trying to come up with ideas, because with this NutriSlice system, I can look at all the other schools that are offering the same option. Asia is with Salem Kaiser, with 16 different schools there.
We have 72, and then I'm over part of Oregon, part of Washington as well, under my district manager, Lisa Vogt. But I'm always available for resources.
So we also, are there any other questions on this online program? Because we don't want to take up a lot of your time. And we're almost at the end of our school year, but we're here and it's exciting for coming into the new year. Also, we touch base on some of the changes and we're providing information that we will see going into the new school year after the 1st of July. You know, our sugar and salt has always been limited and they're cranking it down again. Our dietitians and our chefs are looking at, to get flavor, sugar, salt, oils, that adds all of it into your flavor profile for your product. And we're losing some of that. So what spices can we add in that will still make these menu items palatable to the kids? And it is, some of our biggest challenges are our macaroni and cheese is different than what mom serves or grandma serves, or even they make themselves. Yes, it is. Our salt is lower, our, just going through, it makes a big difference. So we're going to be working on that. We've already started.
Hi, you guys. Good evening. Nice to meet all of you. I wanted to say thank you so much for this wonderful school board presentation. Some of the ones that I go to are very short and small, but I love the all-encompassing view of what's going on at all of your schools. The student representatives are very prepared and eloquent. I thought it was great. I am here, as Tamara said, just to offer some support and also just provide some general information both on NutriSlice, which she went over beautifully, but also regarding just some common questions that we get in school nutrition. I've passed out some handouts to all of you, and I'm sorry for all the papers, but they're things I genuinely think are helpful resources when learning about some of the regulations that we face in school nutrition, and also some of the things that are really, really beneficial about school meals for millions of students across the United States. I do have just a short PowerPoint presentation for you guys. Robin, if you could go to the next slide, that'd be fantastic. So NutriSlice, as Tamara said, is translatable into 50 different languages, which is fantastic for multilingual communities. You can translate not only the web page itself when you're on the website, but you can also translate any of the printable menus, which is great when you're sending things home with families, and also great for any students who have medical issues or need meal accommodations. It has some other really cool features with filtering for allergens. It also has nutrition facts labels for any of the items that we're serving, which comes from our back-end nutrition software, so you guys can get an accurate picture of what's in the school meals that you get every day. It includes ingredient information, calories, and nutrition facts label, just like you would see in the store. So it's a really, really fantastic tool. I have an image here which just shows what the app icon looks like. It is available on both computer and phone via either Google Play or the Apple Store. I always recommend people have it on their phones because if you're needing to look something up really quickly on the go and want to see what's being served in the cafeteria that day, it's a really great way to know what's on the menu and see if you want to bring something from home or if you want to enjoy one of the things that's being offered for the day. So if you guys have any questions about some of the great features, I'm always available to walk you through them. Sometimes in my district, I have calls with office managers and show them kind of the tools so that they can help walk parents through it as well. It's very, very, very helpful. And then briefly, Robin, if you could go, thank you. We're going to talk about, just very briefly, some of the legislation that we, as Tamara said, are going to see coming up and some of the common questions we get. I think in school nutrition, it's very easy to get a bad rap, right? Because we're not serving the burger you're gonna get at a fast food restaurant. We're not serving things, like Tamara said, like you're going to cook at home. And the reason for that is because we have many regulations that we have to follow for what we include in those meals and what actually winds up on a student's plate. So, that being said, one of the things I handed out to you guys were the Oregon Department of Education's breakfast and lunch meal patterns at a glance. And it's kind of a long document, but it offers you a view into what we have to follow, in essence, to receive reimbursement for the meals that we serve and to offer no-cost or low-cost meals to students. If we don't comply with the regulations, we unfortunately are unable to receive reimbursement for those meals, so we do have to follow them very, very strictly and have to record all of the foods that we're serving and participate in audits to make sure that we are following those regulations. Some of the things that we have to follow in those regulations, as Tamara said, are regarding sugar, sodium, dietary specifications for things that could potentially cause chronic diseases, but also for making sure that we're including nutritious, healthy things like whole grains, low-fat sources of dairy, lots of fruits and vegetables, and we're regulated for the types and the amounts we have to include. So there are really a lot of regulations that we have to follow when getting those meals out to students, and it's something we're very passionate about making sure is hopefully tasting very good too, so that they participate in school meals. Robin, if you could go to the next slide. One of the common questions we hear in the district is about why students can't have second entrees, right? So the food is there, why can't we just serve it to the students? One of those reasons is because, as I said, we have regulations for how much sodium, how much saturated fat, how many calories we're allowed to feed students at different age and grade levels. They're pretty strict if you guys look at the handouts I provided, and if we were to offer second entrees, we would very quickly go past the cap for those things, which is why we have things like offering bars and sharing tables, which allow students who are still hungry to get second servings of other foods that will hopefully also fill them up in a healthful and nutritious way. Unfortunately, the second entrees, if we offer those, are going to offer all their nutritious things that are going to go past the calorie, sodium, and probably fat limits for them. And then next slide, Robin. One of the other things we hear very commonly is that school meals are full of sugar. They're not nutritious in general. We, as I said, have a lot of regulations for following, limiting our sugar. Legislation from the FDA actually in 2016 changed the nutrition facts label. So you guys might see at the stores, I don't know how much attention you guys pay to these things, but they added sugar onto the nutrition facts label when it used to just be total sugars in a product. added sugars are anything that wouldn't naturally be occurring in a food. So when you think of like a fruit or vegetable, that would be a naturally occurring sugar, but an added sugar would be if I added literal sugar into that product. And those are the things that we want to limit students in getting. We, as Tamara said, by this coming school year, are required by both federal and state law to limit the amount of added sugar served to less than 10% of the total calories students get per week. And there are additional limits that have been placed. If you look at the final rule guideline I passed out to you, on items that are traditionally sugary, so things like breakfast cereals, yogurt, flavored milk, those things have additional limits that are being placed, which manufacturers are having to reformulate their products for. So the good thing is, Sodexo and Nutrition Services is already offering a lot of products that fall within these guidelines. The breakfast cereals that students are served in schools at K through 12 are specially formulated to be lower in sugar, and they're not the things that you would buy on the shelves in the grocery store, which is great, but you may notice some slight taste differences in the next school year because of that. So if you hear students saying, this isn't as sweet as it used to be, the reason is because of the updated legislation. And if you want to go to the next slide, Mom, thank you. And speaking of that legislation, so as I said, there are limits on added sugar, but there are also limits on the amount of added sugar specifically in flavored milk. Continued recommendations to ensure that we're serving 80% of grains as whole grain rich grains. What that means is that at least 50% of the grains in the product are from sources of whole grain rather than refined grains. So continuing to make sure we're offering those nutritious foods to students, and as Tamara said, gradually reducing sodium from the current limits that we're at in a stepwise approach so that hopefully we don't see too many impacts in flavor right away. And then finally, in my last slide, I just wanted to address, I know there's a lot of questions going around regarding potential changes to nutrition legislation under the current administration, as there's been a lot of changes already this year. At this time, Sodexo and Nutrition Services are going to maintain operations at status quo. If there are changes made, the reality is it takes a very long time for it to roll down to us at the operational level. So if changes are made, we may see them, but it might not be for a few years. And the good thing about schools, I think we can all recognize, is that we adapt to the punches as they come. And we do, of course, welcome the partnership of all of you as the board members, but also the community in North Wasco, and keeping our students healthy and safe and providing us with feedback as we adapt to any changes that come. So thank you so much for your time, and if you have any questions, we'd love to take them now.
I do have a question. Within the guidelines, I recognize having to meet them and make sure that we're in compliance. I guess my question is, within that, one of the things that we have heard in the past, like as an example, like Chenoweth, when they were served soda, that was very popular. That's 40+% student population. That's a very customary like dish that those students enjoyed, right? So within these guidelines, my question is, so what's our ability, I guess, to still kind of have some of those not only culturally relevant for our student population, but also just kind of almost fun foods, right? Kind of within scratch stuff, not just something that comes out of a package and meets the numbers, right? But like that they're going to gravitate towards, because I don't know how many times we heard it during student representative reports that like that is a fun dish, right? And they really like enjoy that. So I'm just wondering, what's our ability to kind of continue stuff like that to encourage that our kiddos are eating lunch at school?
I do have the ability, because our menus come out that are totally compliant, so that we're not in trouble in any way, shape, or form. And I do have the ability to do some massaging, about 20%. And so every month that Fazoli has not been on the menu, I put it on, because I know that. And as I talk to kids, Chenoweth, for instance, students had asked if instead of cheese quesadillas, we could have chicken quesadillas. We can do that. You try and look for the whole group, but once they start asking, then we make changes on that, going along that line. The recipes do have to be approved and everything because they come from nutrition or the dietitian group, and it kind of rolls downhill, but not in a bad way. And then looking at the menus, I work with the leads. We talk about different things, and then they have to put it into what we call our production records that are required by ODE, and that is what populates NutriSlice once they finish out their production records. So it is, as we go through it, we have what we call a mummy dog. And our hot dogs are turkey with low sodium, that type of thing, and it's wrapped with pizza crust. And it's, we started bringing that back this year, and the staff find out the kids like it. It's a lot more work for them because you have to cut all your slices, roll around on your hot dog and serve it, and they like it. I don't know, they might like any hot dog that we serve, but it is also a turkey hot dog, which is different, and it helps encourage them to eat something that does taste somewhat different. So as we find recipes and we get the feedback,
And Director Aparicio, I think that's a great question. Just to add on to what Tamara covered specifically in the district, I wanted to speak more to kind of how that menu development process works on the back end. We have what are called menu committee meetings a few times a year, and it's a meeting of all of the general managers in our region, so in the West region, but also the dietitians who are in charge of creating the recipes. I'm included in that, but I don't write the recipes, I'm sorry. But we are all basically there to provide feedback and to speak up for the things that we're hearing from our students at the operational level about what they are wanting to see on that menu rotation. So that hopefully when those menus roll down, they have more of those culturally appropriate foods, more of the things that kids really enjoy eating that are more scratch made already on that base menu, so that Tamara at the operational level doesn't have to do quite as much massaging. Although there's always going to be things that we have to adjust when they roll out because we're providing feedback, but they have to meet the needs of everyone in the region, so individual feedback plays a role but doesn't account for the entire region. But that being said, whenever those things do roll down, Tamara can then look at the overall week, look at the nutrition for the overall week and say, I know my students really like this product and I can fit it in. I'm gonna fit it in as long as I can get those ingredients in and there aren't any supply chain issues. So we do have some wiggle room, and the new guidelines, although they're going to be more restrictive, I think most of the restrictions are going to come at the manufacturer level for products that they're making that we really don't have an impact on, right? Like breakfast cereals, we can't really change how they are once they come out. I think more of the regulational changes will be seen on that side rather than here in operations, other than the sodium. So I think that's a really great question, and that's one of the reasons we really, really value student and staff feedback, because when we hear those are things we can bring to the menu committee to provide them with more information on what rolls down to us.
And on the topic of feedback, what does that look like? Is that more qualitative type, like, I have more food left over, or is it quantitative, like actual formalized surveys? And can you talk about what that looks like?
It is both. I look at participation. We just changed the menu program at the high school, and we're seeing roughly, and it's not big, but it is, the high school kids are too cool to eat in our cafeteria. But I'm still seeing anywhere from 25 to 50 kids more a day right now on some days with those changes that we made. So that's something like, okay, that is feedback that we received at other locations. We brought the program here, and we know we're doing the right thing. We still have some tweaking to do, and we're going to continue. It's like chicken nugget day. I'll be honest, I don't like the chicken nuggets that we serve, but oh my gosh, the kids line up on it. I've had in the past where I've had a student's mother call and say, I need help. I don't want to make my child's lunch, but she doesn't like anything other than chicken nuggets. And I said, well, what about the chicken burgers? She doesn't like them. And we talked, and finally we decided Mom was going to tell this child, it's like a big chicken nugget. Mom called me after we served it, and yes, her daughter loved it. She would not eat the bun, but she ate her big chicken nugget. So, you know, those presentations and working with the students, you know, pizza day is big. We do pizza every Friday in the elementary school because we know the kids like it and we have a large participation. But then talking with the leads, that's, you know, that was conversation that they had with their students that they brought to me. That's our other way of doing it.
There is also usually, I've only been with Sodexo for a year now, but there is usually in the spring a feedback survey that's sent out, and it's something that parents, students, staff, whoever can participate in and offer real feedback for how they feel food services are going. That's something we really, really value and pay attention to, and it does help us identify where there are areas of improvement. But outside of that, even when the feedback survey isn't out and isn't published, Tamara is always available for any feedback, any questions, any comments via email or phone. We have contact information at the end of our presentation, and I also am always available if you guys want to send me an email. I can bring things to the menu committee when we host them. We value real feedback. I love it when people are honest, whether it's good or bad, because it really does help us improve the program to the benefit of our students, which is why we're here.
I have a question on, so something you're using that already comes packaged, like the cereal. So like with milk, and maybe chocolate milk, and that has added sugar. So you're going to reduce that. What does that mean to the manufacturer? Do they make special batches for schools? Is that what happens?
That's a really great question. For some products, yes. So if you guys think of like major corporations, let's say General Mills, right? They make all the cereals pretty much in the nation. They have special products that are for schools. So you see the cereals that you get on the shelves, they're usually a little bit higher in sugar, a little bit higher in calories. They anticipate larger servings because they might be also for adults, right? But then they have other products that are branded specifically for use in schools at the K through 12 level. For milk, I think that's a great question. I believe it's very, very similar. And at the manufacturer level, that for them involves basically reformulating their recipe to reduce those added sugars so that they're in compliance with the new guidelines. And that will then come to us and we'll just serve it as normal. So hopefully the kids don't notice too much of a difference, but it will just naturally be lower in sugar when it comes to us. They just need to reformulate their recipes. That's a great question.
One of the products that we struggle with is orange juice, believe it or not, because there's less sugar than what you folks will drink at home. And we received orange juice through our commodity program, and we really struggled to have the kids drink it because of the flavor is so different than what they're used to. So those are some challenges we do have.
You guys have great questions. Other questions? If not, we'll get out of your hair. I did want to leave my card in case you guys want to reach out or have anything that comes up after the meeting or after you've reviewed everything. Please feel free to reach out at any time. I really want to be available as a resource. I live in Portland and I drive down to Salem, so I'm used to long drives. So if you ever want me to come back, I'm more than happy to go over just some more of the meal pattern regulations in specific. I think it's really, really beneficial for people to kind of learn what that looks like. So thank you so much for your time, guys. I'm sorry that I don't know how to turn this off.
That's okay. You leave it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank Thank you, Tamara, that was fantastic. Next, I'd like to invite Director Brennan up. We're going to be going through our integrated guidance plan presentation. And then clarification, Director Aparicio, on your question regarding the action item. The action was the reading of the public statement, but there's no action required by the board.
Hi, everyone. A draft of our responses to the application questions was submitted in the board packet. It is 22 pages long, so to spare you from reading all of it, I'm just going to share an overview of our responses and our process, and then ask for formal approval to submit the North Wasco County Consortium 25-27 integrated guidance application. So the purpose of presenting to you tonight is to share what was prioritized in the plan, to explain how the plan was developed, to hear feedback from you on the plan now that it has been developed, and to present the integrated guidance applications and plans for North Wasco County School District and Mosier Community School for board approval, which is required in order to submit the application. Next. Oh, you're already there. Through integrated guidance, we have the ODE has aligned all of these different funding programs and initiatives because of what they have in common, and we are guided to then go through this entire process in order to ensure that all of the outcomes and strategies that we have for each grant is then aligned to our whole school district. Through the integrated application process, the outcomes and strategies for each initiative will continue to come together into a single strategic plan that supports the common goals. The aim is to build these goals into the entire educational system, to embed the work at all levels and ensure sustainability. So these are the different programs embedded into integrated guidance. So we have ongoing continuous improvement planning, everyday matters, career connected learning, next slide, high school success, student investment account, early indicator and intervention systems, and early literacy success school district grant, career and technical education, and federal school improvement. So this is the process of our planning. The 22-27 strategic plan is our North Star as 5-year district goals, benchmarks for success, and initiatives are outlined. As part of our previous integrated guidance biennium, we identified longitudinal projected growth targets, or LPGTs. Since then, and using an equity lens, our teams analyzed and reflected upon our progress, successes, and areas for improvement for the 25-27 integrated guidance biennium. All of this is to improve outcomes for our students, starting in the youngest grades and seeing them through to the end of their high school careers and graduating them to be college and career ready. So we go to the previous slide. I'm sorry for the reorganization. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the team members and staff that have participated in our community engagement efforts, needs assessment, and planning processes. We had 2 different teams. A larger team, the advisory team members, included the core team members. And the core team members came together to write our final draft of our application. The integrated application process requires us to follow these steps and include these different components in order to curate a quality plan matched to our local need. We incorporated an equity lens into our planning and budgeting process to ensure that our strategies address the unique needs of historically underserved student groups, including students from low-income families, students with disabilities, English language learners, and students from minority backgrounds. Our goal was to identify and eliminate barriers, close achievement gaps, and provide equitable opportunities for all students. Through a needs assessment, we took a deep dive into our data, looking at our LPGTs, K-12 continuum, early learning and elementary focus, including universal screening data, third grade reading and math proficiency, local performance assessments, and then middle and high school data included 9th grade on track, graduation rates, completion rates, CTE data, credits earned in dual college credit and AP classes. In our needs assessment, we also looked at our community engagement, which included the North Wasco County School District Community Engagement Report from December 2024, which was a recommendation from the intensive program. We asked our youth outreach workers to collect data and engage in empathy interviews with our students regarding attendance and why or why not they were, or really why they weren't coming to school. We focused on students who were not attending. We used survey data from our climate and culture TOSAs, and then also school-based engagement, which is shared regularly by the schools at school board meetings with you. In terms of the 4 common goals of integrated guidance, we looked at equity advanced, engaged community, well-rounded education, and strengthened systems and capacity. And finally, we reviewed our past plan. So through our community engagement efforts, our needs assessment process, and examination of the data, these 5 priorities emerged, focused on student experience, teaching and learning, community engagement, and staffing diversity. And those then our priorities are, we go a little deeper on the next slide. So I realize that you won't be able to, next slide please. Yep. I realize you can't read this actual slide, but you should have a hard copy of the outcomes and strategies that we've identified as they align to our strategic plan and recommendations from the intensive program. Do you have a copy of that? Okay. So I won't read it all to you. From there, we then also identified strategies that align to the outcomes, and then the items within our budget are considered the activities. So our outcomes are the next few slides. I'll go through those. Next, we aligned the outcomes and strategies to where funding in integrated guidance is coming from. One thing that I forgot to include on this paper is you'll see under, in the column for CTE, there are dollar signs instead of X's on this document that you have. The reason for that is we wanted to show how the work that we do with our CTE programs aligns to outcomes and strategies in our integrated guidance application, but we don't actually receive CTE money through integrated guidance, but we still wanted to highlight that. So the next slide, please. So our key investments include our youth outreach workers, which are funded from our CSI-TSI funding, the professional development in the science of reading, curricular materials, and extended learning opportunities is funded through our Early Literacy Success School District grant. We have roughly 5 FTE funded from our High School Success grant. And we are also able to access some CTE professional development with those funds. And then our SIA grant funds roughly 32.685 FTE. At this time, we are working with the anticipated budget allocations that were provided from ODE, but should the actual allocations change, we've planned some backup or bonus activities that we can easily pivot to if we are provided with additional funding, which include additional FTE to support social, emotional, and academic needs, additional support, FTE to support transitional grades, K-12, and ongoing and additional professional development to support current strategies for focal groups. So ODE's integrated guidance offers kind of a performance framework that our work is reviewed through. This includes a mixture of outcome measures, programmatic and financial reporting, and the opportunity for local optional metrics. So this is how the state understands success. And we have been asked to develop draft LPGTs to submit with our integrated application due this month, and those have already been presented to the board and are not new or drafts. So when we are looking at at the work that we are doing and thinking and reflecting about our success, we are considering if we are meeting or exceeding our LPGTs with an emphasis on closing the gap with focal students. We're looking at local assessment data specific to iReady, HMH growth measures, and then also curriculum-based assessments, staff and student survey data, and something that we are developing, which is a result of our participation in the intensive program, is identifying success metrics and milestones and a self-reflection for FTE from SIA and the high school success grant. Also in addition to everything that the state uses to measure our success. I'd like to invite Michelle Dawkins from Mosier Community School up to share some of the work that's happening at Mosier.
Thank you, Shannon. For Mosier, we did many of the same things as far as we did a lot of surveying of our families. We've been working on a new 5-year strategic plan and really inviting our staff to be part of helping us to determine our priorities. They are design a comprehensive school curriculum emphasizing critical thinking skills, the creative arts, and outdoor place-based learning, increase reading, math, and science achievement across all grade levels, create a school culture where everyone feels a sense of belonging and safety, and to be the hub of the community engagement, connection, and lifelong learning. Our outcomes, to make sure that we're meeting those goals, there you go. Increase reading achievement across all K-3 grade levels. All students will have an increased sense of belonging in school, which will be shown through increased rates of regular attenders. All students will report an increased sense of safety and belonging at school. Increase math achievement across grades K through 8. And provide a well-rounded educational experience for all students, K through 8, through enrichment, opportunities, and activities. With the money that we receive for early literacy, it's around $63,000, and our SIA is about $200,000. With that, most of our funding is going to go for our K-3 literacy specialist. We want to make sure that our students are proficient at reading by grade 3, and we can only do that with the support of a coach and extra support for our students. In addition, we fund a SEL teacher full-time. We also provide financial support for enrichment and clubs. Clubs are a very important part of MCS for our after-school activities. We are also providing professional development funds for math education. Currently, we have used some of our last year's money, or I guess this year's, is all of our, we have 11 of our teachers out of our 14 teachers that are participating in the letters. Stipend and letters is a professional development around the science of reading. We are partnered with the Columbia Gorge ESD to provide this. It's pretty intensive and it takes a long time, so to be able to provide a stipend for teachers for putting in all that extra work and time and effort has been really paying off. We will do year 2 in the 25-26 school year, and the intention is for us to then provide our support staff with some stipend to participate as well. We also do progress monitoring programs. Next year, we're going to implement NWEA map testing. This is a progress monitoring map testing for our students in reading, math, and science. That will help direct our instruction and inform how we can best support our students. We also will provide professional development to improve instruction in reading, math, and writing. And then we have some other items in there, especially for enrichment. Any questions?
So when we look at this little graphic from ODE, we sort of feel like we're at the very beginning of the graphic, even though we've been planning and working on this application for a whole year already, or 9 months. So each application will undergo a thorough evaluation process for approval, and then after which it will be known as an integrated plan. The timing is outlined here. And there are a number of variables, but we are working so closely with ODE almost on a daily basis through the intensive program that none of this seems like a big deal. We had ODE here this week, and it really does feel like a partnership to help improve outcomes for our students. So even though we're just at the beginning of this little map, we know that we're going to get to the point of having an approved plan, and we'll just continue to improve outcomes for our students.
So it's a good thing to join ODE, and collaborate with them so that when you got to this place, there they are for you. That's kind of cool. Although that little box "we are here" represents a lot of work.
Sure does. Are there any questions?
I can't remember the timeline or the plan is good for how many years?
It's a 2-year guidance.
It's a 2-year. Okay. So basically every couple of years this effort will continue.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and I presented about the Early Literacy Success School District grant a bit last year, and knowing that that would be integrated into the integrated guidance application.
Are there any other questions? Okay, so we have one thing we need to discuss. The plan was not listed as an action item, so the board, you can't take action tonight on it. So my recommendation is we schedule a virtual meeting to approve the plan so it can get submitted by April 30th. So my recommendation is we schedule a virtual meeting either next Tuesday or Wednesday so that we can submit the plan.
Robin's available to live stream. 15 minutes, it's all.
It will be a quick meeting. Okay.
Yes. One question before that. Jose and I don't seem to have been able to access the slide deck you have, so if we could take a look at that before we have that meeting, just be able to flip through it, that would be much appreciated.
Were you not able to access it because of permissions?
I don't think I ever saw an email or anything with it included.
It's in your packet. It's in your board packet.
We can't figure out technology.
We will make sure you, get that.
Okay. Adrian doesn't have it either, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just good to take a look at it before we get together and discuss. Thanks, Shannon.
I do want to take a minute to thank Director Brennan. This was her first time leading this process under my direction, and also thank the ESD for your support throughout the process. This plan is a result of a lot of meetings, a lot of conversations, a lot of dialogue with a lot of different stakeholders, and then also included a lot of analysis of our data and comparing that against our 23-25 plan and the goals and outcomes that we said we were going to do. And we feel really strongly about our 25-27 plan that we're submitting. It's reflective of these collaborative efforts that is aimed at improving both academic and social emotional outcomes for all students. So thank you, Director Brennan, for all of your hard work, and thank you to the team that collaborated throughout this process. That's correct. I am the Chief Financial Officer tonight as well. Thank you. Next, we have an action item, which is to approve Resolution 24-25-13, adopting a supplemental budget and making appropriations within the state grant funds. This is a result of SB 5701, which was a one-time allocation of dollars from the state to pay each staff member identified working in special education a stipend. So this money will provide a one-time payment. It has to occur in the 24-25 school year. So this is what this resolution is reflective of.
I'll move to adopt Resolution 24-25-13, a resolution adopting a supplemental budget and making appropriations within the state grants fund.
Second.
Motion by Director Nelson, seconded by Director Richardson. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Any abstain? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Thank you. The next resolution is Resolution 24-25-14, which authorizes the district to proceed with participation in the OSBA Tax Anticipation Note Pool. We intend to borrow $1.8 million in early June and repay that debt with a portion of November property tax collections. This is the same process that's been used in prior years. In my conversations with our Chief Financial Officer, with all of the uncertainty with federal funding and other dollars, and in anticipation of the May revenue forecast, which we believe will be less than ideal, we feel more comfortable moving forward with participating in the tax pool.
I'll move to adopt Resolution 24-25-14, resolution of North Wasco County School District 21, Wasco County, Oregon, authorizing a tax and revenue anticipation note, Series 2025A, authorizing participation in the Oregon Education District Short-Term Borrowing Program, Series 2025A, approving and authorizing execution of documents, pledging full faith and credit and funds deposited in a special account, and designating a district representative.
Motion by Director Nelson, second by Director Richardson. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. abstain? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, our CFO just wanted to report there's nothing of particular note in this month's financial statements, and our enrollment continues to hover near the adjusted estimate to ODE of 2,820 students.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to out-of-state travel.
Yes, so excited to report our TDHS, one of our TDHS robotics teams has qualified again for the VEX World Championships. This year will be taking place in Dallas, Texas, May 5th through May 9th, which are school days, so we're asking for board approval for out-of-state travel.
I move to approve the out-of-state travel request as presented to the VEX World Championship for our robotics team.
A motion by Director Aparicio, seconded by Director Rock. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Any abstain? Ayes have it, motion passes. Next, we just have first reading for policy GAB, job descriptions. It's revisions to align with OSBA model policy language.
Is there any recommendation or thought related to the bracketed text on the
Yes.
last page?
Yes, thank you for your question. My recommendation would be as needed.
Versus, I guess I'm curious why the annual made more sense to me, just by virtue of, it seems like every session legislatively, be it the long session or the short session, is so a refresh to make sure that we're not only current and up to date makes sense in my head. Just curious, kind of the as needed. I guess it doesn't affect broadly when legislation happens, but.
It also doesn't broadly affect all job descriptions, so if there was some change to a job description that, for example, happened through legislative changes, then we would address that at that time.
Dr. Merle, is that kind of a separate HR issue then, like what would trigger a job review on an as-needed basis then, or?
No, I mean, and usually what happens is, for example, if we have a singular job description and a person retires out of that job description, for example, that's a great opportunity for us to take a look at that job description and determine, do we need to make updates to that job description, do we need to revise it, are we going to expand it, do something different with it. Also, in collaboration with our unions, they can bring forward proposals to change job descriptions at any time, so we can the district. So when we make changes to job descriptions, it usually is a collaborative process with our unions.
Is there any?
Sorry, apologies. We did not have anybody sign up for public comment. However, we did receive one written comment from a student from TDHS. I will be addressing that matter with our TDHS administration. Due to privacy issues, I don't believe we should publicize the contents of it in order not to violate FERPA HIPAA, but we'll have a conversation with that student, and if they do want it publicized, then we can publish the public comment.
All right, with that, we will adjourn. adjourn this meeting.